Hello everybody, this is Sophia from Food and Beverage Costing Studio. I'm going to fill in a full recipe from scratch in just under 5 minutes. So let's go. These are all the types included in this tool. I'm going to answer the following question. Why most food and beverage businesses lose money on their dishes? Most restaurant owners or food and beverage operators price the dishes by feel. They taste it, know it's good, and add a margin that sounds reasonable. Compares it maybe to the competitors and hope for the best. The problem is that hope is not a food cost strategy. Industry benchmarks from the National Restaurant Association put food costs between 28 and 35% for most concepts. If you don't know your food costs per dish, you have no idea if you're inside that range or burning money on every plate. This template fixes that. Let me show you exactly how it works. I'm going to cost a classic chocolate lava cake for 6 portions. So first, you just have to copy one of the previous recipes. So copy and paste. Okay, first you have to write the recipe name. So, chocolate lava cake. Category, it's a dessert. Number of portions, I'm gonna put 6. Scale to portions, I'll explain later. I'll just put 10 for now. And then selling price and weight display units. I'll also explain that later. Now, ingredients. I'll start with dark chocolate. Chocolate, 85%. I'm gonna use 250 grams. And the price is $12 per kilo. So the sheet converts that automatically to cost per gram and multiplies it by the quantity. So here it shows the net cost for those 250 grams. Now, here is where it gets interesting, waste factors. So here, chocolate has no waste, so it's fine. But look at what happens with eggs. UD is units. Template has waste factors built in for over 200 ingredients. Waste factor is the percentage of an ingredient you lose during preparation, cracking, cooking loss, trimming. For whole eggs, it's 12%, which the sheet accounts for automatically. So when I say I'm using 4 eggs, the sheet knows I actually need to buy slightly more to end up with the right amount. That's the difference between costing on paper and costing in reality. I'll just add the rest of the ingredients quickly. So you can just drag if it's the same unit. Okay, if you just want to add another ingredient, you just put plus. And if you want to delete that, just select and delete rows. Now, Look at the recipe summary here at the top. It tells you the total cost proportion, $1.9. Total recipe cost, 6.52 cents. Total recipe scaled cost, $10.87. Food cost percentage, 6%. Margin proportion, 16.91. You can see it depends on the pricing on what you're selling. So here, if I change it to a more reasonable price, $9, this is your margin, $7. As you can see, the 12.1 percentage is well within the healthy range. And I know this because I spent literally 3 minutes entering ingredients, not because I guessed. The sheet works in Google Sheets, and it's built for both metric and imperial. So whether you're working in grams and kilograms or ounces and pounds, it adapts to how your kitchen actually operates. It works with any currency as well. I'll quickly recalculate the same recipe using pounds and ounces. Okay, you see everything recalculates. Now, here's the feature that makes this generally useful for real operations, the scaling. I'm going to change the service count from 10 to 20. Like you need in a Saturday evening service, a catering event, or specific dates like Thanksgiving or Christmas. Every ingredient, quantity, and every cost recalculates instantly, so your purchasing list for that service is already done. No mental math. You always have the standard size, which is 6, and the quantity for special events or seasonal changes. You're aware of what is normal and what has changed, so you can compare prices. Scale quantity, scale net quantity, and scale net cost. Now, here you can change the weight display unit. In this case, I'm going to put ounces. You see, it calculates automatically the weight proportion and the total net weight. You can also do it pounds, grams, kilograms. Also, this is useful because it tells you if waste percentage, your weight per plate is too much or too little, so you can decide if you have to buy more or if you can buy less of a product. Once you've costed a few dishes, the menu summary tab gives you a full picture of your menu. I'm just going to show you the drink costing. It's exactly the same principle as the recipe costing. Every dish is listed with its selling price, cost proportion, food cost percentage, and margin, all in one view. You set a food cost target, let's say the 32% for casual dining concept, and any dish that goes over that gets flagged automatically. Red means look at this dish. It doesn't mean remove it. It means understand it. Maybe an ingredient has a high percentage waste. Maybe you adjust the serving size. Maybe you swap out product for another. You also have OK status and the warning status. Here, imagine I'm just going to use, for the sake of it, 23%. It tells you if a recipe, it's going to go over your threshold. And here at the top, you have your average food cost percentage for the menu. It tells you everything just in one. So this tells you it's below the 32% target. So it's within range. And it's even lower than range, 22%. Normally it's between 28 and 35%, 32% depending. Then it also tells you your average cost proportion for the menu and your average margin for the menu. Here, it also shows you graphs where you can compare each dish you have with the margin just with one view. Everything is automatically, so when you add a new recipe in the recipe costing, it adds directly here. And when you also change here, it also change here. So 34%. You see it changes. Then the same concept goes for drink summary. Okay, now the waste factors tab. This tab is your reference library. Over 200 ingredients with the waste percentages are already loaded here. You don't need to touch anything here. It feeds automatically into your recipe costing, so your recipes you've created. The waste percentage is the amount of an ingredient you lose during preparation, the peeling, the trimming, the cooking loss, cracking eggs. It varies depending on who is handling the ingredients, your supplier, and the freshness of the product on any given day. Here you can just check fast if you want. For example, celery. Okay, you press, and it shows you automatically the waste, the yield, and the notes. The waste, the yield, and the notes. One more thing, the waste factors tab gets updated periodically as I add more ingredients. When this happens, I'll send you a notice through wherever you've purchased it, Etsy or Gumroad. To get the updated version, you don't need to buy anything again. Just open the original link and copy and paste the updated table into your own file. Now, the custom waste tab. Here is where it gets specific to your operation. If your actual waste percentage is different from the reference table because of your supplier, your team, or the way you prep, you enter it here. You weigh the ingredients before and after cleaning, entering both weights, and your real waste percentage calculates automatically. Once you add it in here, it overrides the reference table across over every recipe that uses that ingredient, no extra steps. I'm gonna enter papers. Here I'm writing it in grams, but you can write it in pounds or ounces. And just put on notes of why. So this is from water weights. Okay. Now you just come to the recipe costing. Here, capers. Okay. 30%. 30%. So it's already updated. The recipe template is also included as a free tool within the recipe costing sheet. So it also has the how to use tab. An example of a recipe of a formatted recipe shows the menu item, the yield portion, scale of portions if you need this, portion size, prep time, cook temperature, the ingredients, base weight, the unit, and the scaled weight. This is calculated automatically if you put the scale portions. Let's see. Or 100. You can put any. Then special notes, the equipment tool, everything you use to create this recipe. And you put the serveringware, exactly what you use for each and every recipe, so your service people know where everything is served, as well as your chefs. And here it shows the method of preparation. The first thing till it's finished, and then for service, what you have to do, and then any notes. And this is where you just fill in. You can just copy or duplicate directly and just change the name to what is your recipe name. So the full template is in the description below with a direct link. It works in Google Sheets. If you want to go further, menu engineering, profit and loss tracking, smart inventory tracker, those are all in the same shop, linked in the description too. If this helped, subscribe. I post practical food and beverage finance videos for food and beverage businesses. Thank you very much for watching. See you in another video.